All right. Hello. We're going to ask you to come in and take a seat, and we're going to get started here for this very special hour. Very good. I'll kind of explain to you what we've got planned here for these next few minutes. Really, we want to take this time to, in essence, show great gratitude and appreciation for Bill and Ann Newton. And we're going to do that in a variety of ways. We're going to have some live testimonies. There's a number of folks that will come up here and share some thoughts. We have some video testimonies. We have a video of some great pictures, and you all will love that. And then we have some gifts that we would like to give to Bill and Ann, and I think this will be just a great, great time together. You know, the Bible says in Romans 12 and verse 10, love one another with brotherly affection, and I love this, outdo one another in showing honor. Honor in that particular text is the idea of respect and value. And I want you to know that as a church, we respect you all, we value you all, and we want to honor you all here today. And so we're going to start out with some testimonies, and Bill, you're going to come and start us off here today. And then right after that, Sherry Hill and Jeff Brammer, and then we'll have some video testimonies and carry on from there. But Bill, you come and share. Yeah.
I'm glad I get to go first because I've got a whole bunch of stuff to say, and it's going to take all your thunder away the rest of your guys. Bill and Ann came to this church, I think it's about 18 years. Debbie and I came 18 years ago, and right after we came, they came. There's a little bit of connection there. Our kids knew each other at school. And in fact, I think a couple of your kids sang at their wedding. And so we had a little bit of a connection there. And I came here last week. I started at the front, and I walked through the building. There's nothing in this building he hasn't touched. You look, even this stage, if you've been here for a little while, you know it's much different than it was. And one of the good things about getting older is you can look back and see how God worked. And Ann came, and we lost the principal, and we thought, what are we going to do? Well, Ann came and walked right into that. And I looked on the board just a while ago, and there was about 120 people in school when Ann started, before Ann started. There's 210 now. And a lot of that has to do with what Ann does. And that's her educator part. Running the school, even doing some teaching, and most of all, watching after Bill is a big job. And she did all that, and then if you think about it, in the background, she's a quiet person in the background. Her preludes are just, you come in to church, you got all things going in your mind, and you hear some of her preludes going on, and it settles you down, and you're ready. The plays, I mean, all the plays we've done here, the Christmas Carol, just hours and hours of preparation. And then the music this morning. Thank you, Ann. I appreciate that. You're, again, getting older, you have this idea of looking back and seeing how God works. And He supplied needs. That we didn't know we had. I'm sorry. Ann and I run in different circles. She runs in the K-12 circle, K-6 grade circle. I run in the K-10 circle. So we don't have a whole lot of interaction, but I just appreciate all you do. Both of you folks came and made yourself at home. It's not like you were waiting on us to come to you. You made yourself at home, and I know all of you have gotten requests from pastors to do things, and you saddled up and got right into work and did them. And again, we didn't know we had the needs we had. I look forward to seeing what God has for you. coming years. I look forward to see what God's going to do here with the new folks. And it's just a wonderful thing. I walked through from the beginning this week. I just kind of walked through. If you haven't seen the fellowship hall, what used to be kind of the shabbiest place around is probably one of the best places around now. And the hallways, Bill touched all that stuff, all the classrooms and offices, the new app classes across the way, all the stuff in the vestibule here, the security, safety platform where the security guys stay, that's all there. The connection point. I mean, you can't go through without seeing things. And I'm going to forget, and some of you are going to come to me after this and say, you forgot he did this, this, and this. But going down through the Christian school, all those rooms used to have a touch. I was at the nursery the other day. I've not been in a nursery in 30 years. And I thought, whoa, this is cool. The nursery is all different than it used to be. And again, nothing that around here that he hasn't really touched. We think about them, and I worked with Bill a lot more years ago. I got old sometimes he did, some way he didn't. And it's a pleasure to work, Bill, with you. You go in there, and he's just got a calm demeanor about him. He's got good music playing. He's very, very talented individual. He can do everything. He's been a teacher. He's led the music here. He's a carpenter, electrician, plumber, remodeler, set designer. All those things are in his repertoire. Like I say, he can do anything. And if he doesn't know how to do it, he'll find out how to do it, and then he'll do it. So I just really appreciate that. And those are all the physical things that you all have been a part of and done around the years here. Working with Bill, again, I don't do that much with Ann personally, but working with Bill on some of the projects a few years ago, it's just calm, good music playing. He's got things under control. He knows what he's doing. He's a pleasure to work with. He's an encouragement to me and to, I know, most of you. There is one thing that I noticed and that you haven't touched, and that's the volleyball court. I've got a little bone to pick with you about that. and then I talked to Jeff Brammer. He says, no, Bill worked on that the other day. So he took that away from me, Bill. So you don't have anything else to do. You can go on and be free with that. But anyway, I do appreciate you. You both came again, worked yourself into church. We're a blessing. We're a contributor to our congregation, to our family here. And I just wish you the very best. I know Greenville steals a lot of our people. I mean, you look back and some of our girls got married and went to Greenville. But I am really looking forward to seeing what you have, God has for you then. You've got, is it Mount Calvary you're going to be at? Just to see, and we've got 2 grandkids going to be at BJ, so we'll be down there a few times. We'll look you up. But I can't wait to see what God has for that. I appreciate you. I love you both, and I just wish you the very best. I know God has things for you, again, that you don't know what they are yet. And 10 years from now, we'll look back and see how he worked again. So anyway, I appreciate all you do. I didn't get to half the stuff. I was going to make a big list and get out here and go, see what they do. But again, everything that goes on around here, the school and the church, Bill and Ann have had a touch part of it. So tell them that you appreciate them. Write them a note. Again, just saying it personally is even better, I think. But Lord bless you both. We love you.
Good morning. Well, while public speaking is not something that I particularly enjoy, the Newtons just let me know that they feel like sitting ducks as they're sitting there, so this should be fun. I didn't want to let this opportunity pass me by to congratulate them on their retirement and to just wish them so wonderful adventures to come. Colossians 3:23 tells us It says, whatever you do, work heartily as for the Lord and not for men. And I really think that the Newtons have been great examples of that verse. They have exemplified working hard for the Lord, and we have been the recipients of that, and it's such a blessing. I've had the opportunity to work alongside Anne for 9 years at the Christian school, even longer here at the church as I've been working at the music team off and on, and I've just been blessed by that. Her creativity, her obvious musical skills, her talents, and commitment to do all things well has been evident to us all. Those who know her and have worked alongside of her, she always wants everything done in order and decently and beautifully, and it always turns out wonderfully. We've all been blessed by those God-given gifts. I know as a musician, our goal in worship is always to contribute to corporate worship, never to take away from that, never to draw attention to ourselves, but to really help the people focus their attention on the Lord, and that's our goal. And I think that both Bill and Anne have been wonderful examples of that and have helped us as we strive to worship and honor the Lord. Her organizational skills are incredible. I'm sure that we will never know how many hours, how much time and energy that she has spent planning special events, special services, school programs, and the themes for each one of those. And if you know Anne, she has said more than on one occasion, there is always a theme. So you can look around and see all of those things coming out, and everything just comes together beautifully, and it's just wonderful. I've also had the unique experience to spend many Sunday mornings playing right behind her ear and making all kinds of racket back there. And I've had the opportunity to work with her getting students ready for performances, practicing with the kids, working with them. We have shared a few good laughs, I would say, as we work on the rehearsals for Christmas Carol. There's a lot of time as we sit over in this corner waiting for our time to play or something like that, and we get to share stories, and we've had a few really good laughs over there, so that's been fun. Good memories. Of course, I haven't worked with Bill as much, but as Bill was saying, we can just walk through this building and see everything that he has done. When I'm teaching during the week, every day I will run into Bill somewhere throughout the building, and he's always busy. He's always productive. He's always working himself just crazy busy, and just always humble about what he's doing. We've been blown away by his creative abilities. We've been blessed by his talents. He's always going above and beyond, and we appreciate that so much. I'm sure that we probably will not realize how much that you do around this building, and we won't realize it until, for several weeks, and it's probably going to take many of us to fill their shoes. I am so happy for you to begin your retirement. I'm excited for you to get down there and be with your family. I wish you the very best, many wonderful adventures to come your way, and I just want to thank you for your service, and I thank you for your special ministry that you've had here at Burge. Thank you.
Well, Bill, you did steal all my stuff, so I have to come up with something now. I asked Pastor about 2 years ago, I said, what are you going to do when Bill and Ann decide to retire? And he said, well, I'll be done. and I'm thinking he wasn't completely straightforward with me hopefully, but I could see that there's as been said already, big shoes to fill, a lot of responsibilities, and I've said to myself, I said it's going to take 2 or 3 or 4 people to fill those responsibilities. So Tim and Bethany, don't be intimidated by that, but just so you know. we've had the privilege, my wife and I, of serving alongside and worshiping with Bill and Ann for 28 years, here for 16 years, and in another ministry for 12 years, and it's been a true blessing, and it's nice to have kind of an example for us, somebody just a little further in stage of life that to look up to and see their example. And being an example has already been mentioned in their humbleness, their dedication to vocation and ministry, their consistent Christian walk, and excellence in everything they do, and being humble in all those things that they do. And Bill was a direct example to our son Justin. He had his first job working for Bill in a landscaping business, and Bill was the administrator of the school in Anderson. Probably worked 50 or 60 hours a week, so he needed something to do in his spare time. So he had a landscaping business, and Justin worked for him, and just he saw his dedication, his work ethic, and that's helped him. Matter of fact, when Justin would come home and I'd been doing some yard work, he'd critique me, and he finally, you need to trim a little different. You can't mow straight, and he finally took it over. So there was a benefit to that. Sherry and Bill have both said we see Bill's handiwork everywhere. We see Ann's touches in the music program, definitely in the school, and they're going to be missed. Proverbs 3:27 says, "Do not withhold good from those to whom it is due," and we need to honor them. They're deserving of it, and they're going to be missed.
Hey, Bill and Ann, the Alleman family wanted to take just a little bit of time to tell you how much we are thankful for you, and we're so glad for what God has done in and through you guys at Burge Terrace, especially during the years that we were there serving alongside of you. And I can remember a lot of times sitting in your office talking about Bible class curriculum, talking about chapel schedules, and I'm so thankful for the time that you took to listen to me, and then the wise counsel you were willing to give, and I'm really thankful for that. Bill, I'm always thankful for your can-do spirit, and there were so many ideas I brought to you about the youth group or even kids ministry stuff, and you always had the ability to do what I asked you to do, and I'm thankful for the willingness that you also had to bring my ideas to life, and so thankful for the ways that you served our family and have served at Burge Terrace faithfully over the years.
Bill and Ann, congratulations on many years of faithful service. We really enjoyed serving alongside you for many years at Burge. Bill, I appreciate how much you loved to joke with me. I think about how we served weekly on the worship team, and you always gave me a hard time about having the shortest mic, and it was easy to find, especially next to you who had the tallest mic. And so many memories of ministering in music with you through piano duets and judging at competitions and the school musical. I just really, really enjoyed ministering with you and just your faithfulness throughout the years. We're excited for you guys as you start this next new chapter in your lives, but also, welcome to South Carolina.
Bill and Ann, Cheryl and I would like to congratulate you on your upcoming retirement and commend you for your many years of faithful service at Burge Terrace Baptist Church. You have worn many, many hats over the years years, and you've always done so with a spirit of excellence and desire to please Christ. It was a true joy to serve with you at Burge during our years together. Some of my fondest memories would have to be Bill's amazing sets for the school plays and Ann's inspiring organ preludes during our hymn singing. I still share those fond memories with others as I think back on our time together. I want to personally thank you for your investment in Blake and Jenna as they attend Burge Terrace Christian School. Your investment in their lives have made an eternal difference, and we are so appreciative. I know transitions can be difficult, but I know you're excited to see how God is going to continue to use you in the lives of your children and grandchildren. And I have no doubt that you will get involved in a local church. It's just who you are. I love you both, and congratulations.
Hi, Bill and Ann. Wanted to send you this video to say congratulations on your next move to South Carolina. Starting a new chapter is hard, and leaving behind so many friends and loved ones and so many special memories is going to be tough. I'm sure that you will be prayed for and you will be missed. It's hard to fill such big shoes, Bill. What is that, about size 13? And Ann, I tell you what, love, love, love you. From one teacher to an administrator who just changed my life in so many ways and helped point me towards the cross and how to really love 4th, 5th, and 6th graders and give them the support that they need. I know in South Carolina they are gaining such an amazing couple, and we love you and we'll be praying for you, and we'll see you soon.
Hi, I'm John Curtis. I had the privilege of being a student with Mr. and Mrs. Newton through elementary school and middle school. Mr. Newton was my primary teacher in 7th and 8th grade, and then I got to do play productions with Mrs. Newton as our music teacher, and probably my favorite memory was being the Emperor in the Nightingale play, and having to work on my authoritative presence and command voice, and still use some of that today. But probably my fondest memories are with Mr. Newton, working on the grounds crew and maintenance crew, and just being able to watch him live out what being a man as a Christian should look like. Just his patience, his strong work ethic, and just never giving up. There were definitely times where I was looking for an excuse not to do a job, and Mr. Newton would always look for an excuse to finish the job and get it done, whether it was rain or difficulty or running out of time. He always just wanted to get the job done, and I just really appreciate that example in my life of when I really needed to learn how to work hard and just truly help me become the man I am today. And I'm just so appreciative of the influence that they have been in my life.
Well, good morning. I am honored to be a part of this celebration. But as I was working on this and trying to boil down 16 years in just a few minutes was not easy, but I'll try. I had the privilege of working with Bill and Ann, mostly with Ann, over the past 16 years. And on the wall in our school print room is a quote that says, "With eternity's values in view, Lord, with eternity's values in view, may I do each day's work for Jesus with eternity's values in view." And I know I have read that multiple times every time I go into there, but as I was thinking about the Newtons, that's how they've approached all of the things that they do, and they've done it all with excellence. From teaching to set designs to all the programs, the plays here at school, they've led by example. And each stage in Ann's career here at the school demonstrated mostly how she lived that quote. When she started out teaching kindergarten and doing music classes and helping with the play, all in the same year, then she moved to 2nd grade, still directing the play, all in the same year. And then when she moved to principal and teaching history, and still directing the play, all in the same year. Excellence was her focus. And if you ever sat in any of the practices and all of that, sometimes you would worry, is it going to come off? Is it going to happen? But it always did. And it was wonderful just to see. She's been a colleague, a mentor, a boss, and most of all, a friend. And I've learned from her at each stage and quietly strive just to follow her example. My fondest memories from being with her is when she taught second grade right next door to me in first grade. And we would get the chance to chat and kind of vent sometimes at the end of the day, and which was always good with the teacher. Sometimes you just needed that, and she was just always very encouraging and very helpful to me. But my funniest memory came when Mrs. Cannon was going to be leaving as principal, and then they were going to tell us one afternoon in a meeting who was going to be our next principal. And I had been talking to Ann, and I told her about this not too long ago, and she'd forgotten about it. But I was going on and on and on about why I would not want that position, and telling her all the reasons why I didn't think I would be a good principal and all of that, and how hard I thought the job was going to be. And she just smiled and listened to me. And then we went to the meeting. And when they announced to us who the principal was going to be, I got very embarrassed. And I think I burst out in laughter. And people were looking at me and said, if you'd just known what I told her, you would understand. And I looked at her and said, please forget everything I just said. But I was thrilled that she was stepping into that role because of the respect I had for her. And of course, coming from a teaching position, she understood the teachers a little better. And she was still willing to chat with about things that were happening with students, and she's always had an open door policy, but she always said, make sure you check with me to make sure I am available at those times. And then she would offer counsel, and she always had our backs and supported us during very difficult times with either students and especially with some parents that we had to deal with along the way. And I'm very thankful for her leadership and her example, which has helped to make me a better teacher. And I will truly miss having you in these halls. I wasn't going to do this. And in the office at the end of the hall. I'm looking forward to Bethany being there, but just having you there for so many times, then seeing you sitting here at the piano, I'm going to miss all of that, definitely. And Mr. Newton, thank you for the humble servant attitude you displayed in so many areas. I appreciated your leadership when you did the choir and on the worship team, and your willingness to do all the behind-the-scenes stuff at school that weren't always pleasant, but had to be done. And thank you for the years of taking care of my classroom fish until its demise. Thank you for the example you set and the memories you even gave to my daughter, Danny. I know Jonathan spoke just a few minutes ago, and she was in the same class here in 7th and 8th grade. And when I mentioned to her what I was doing, she brought up a couple of things that she especially remembered about some trips you took. One was a cave trip you went to explore, and she told me they were worried if you were going to get stuck in one of the tunnels because you were so tall. And then a ski trip that you took them on, and she said that you and her had gone down a more difficult hill, and she went ahead and she fell, and you laughed at her. You made sure she was okay, but then you laughed. And she also appreciated the volleyball skills and the basketball skills you taught her because they helped her as she went on into high school. Well, it's hard to believe that you both are leaving, and I'm going to miss you greatly, but as a grandma, I get it. And when the goodbyes are hard, I want to thank you for the memories, the example, and the friendship. I love both of you, and I'm happy for you, and I wish God's greatest blessings for you.
Well, everything I was going to say has been said. But I worked real hard on this, so buckle up. I looked for a biblical example of a spiritual and dedicated man of craftsmanship and came across this passage about a man that God selected to build the tabernacle in the desert. The Lord said to Moses, this is from Exodus 31, the Lord said to Moses, see, I have called by the name Bezalel, the son of Uri, the son of Hur, and the tribe of Judah, and I have filled him with the Spirit of God, with the ability and intelligence, with knowledge and all craftsmanship, to devise artistic designs, to work in gold, silver, and bronze, and cutting stones for setting, and carving wood, to work in every craft. The name Bezalel means in the shadow of God. It symbolizes a person chosen by God for a sacred purpose, a sort of spiritual guardianship. The name reinforces the importance of divine guidance in skilled service and a close relationship with God. I feel like Bill exemplifies that. He's a believer. He loves God. He loves his family. He loves his church. His assignment here at Birch Terrace Baptist Church is not a job to him, but a ministry. I found that it is important to Bill to keep up the maintenance on the property because the appearance of the property is a reflection of God. Perfect, holy, spotless, clean. Colossians 3 says, whatever you do, work heartily as for the Lord and not for men, knowing that from the Lord you will receive an inheritance as your reward. You are serving the Lord Christ. That's a model that Bill lives by. Just some examples of Bill's work ethic. He's very meticulous in everything he does. He has a nose to the grindstone work ethic. He works hard and is diligent, often without taking breaks. He is dedicated and perseveres in tasks. He encourages those who work with him to stay focused and committed to their work. He has a non-stop work ethic. The clock means nothing to him. Break time? What is that? Bill is not limited to a 9-to-5 day and often worked more than 8 hours a day. At night, he walks through the building to check to see that the building is secure. He renovated the lobby and the hallways. He installed and repaired drywall. He replaced all the lights with LED fixtures. He replaced outlets and switches to match the decor, and he also restained doors to match the decor. He replaced the distribution boxes on the septic tank. That was a fun job. He built a new bridge on the to the West House with some incidental improved modifications of his own. He worked with Harold Kylan building the new platform, and two perfectionists working together. That was a sight. After a major storm, water would collect on the floor of the auditorium. And so while they designed and built the new platform, it was his idea to put a drainage ditch underneath the platform to drain the water into the sump pump in the utility room behind the office next to the auditorium. By the way, it worked. He put up lawn signs here at church and at businesses of members of Birch Terrace. He faithfully cleaned the grease trap in the kitchen every month. That was another fun job. He let me do that once, and that was all I had enough of. Probably the thing that led me most to help Bill is his ability and skillfulness in building play sets. Bill didn't just build play sets for our place, he built worlds. He could take a pile of lumber, a box of screws, a few styrofoam boards, and a sketch on paper and somehow turn it into a scene that made people stand in awe. His attention to detail is legendary. Bill's hands have built more than sets and scenery. They built memories, moments, and a legacy of excellence that will outlast us all. He has knowledge of repairing nearly everything, including plumbing, furniture, and carpentry. Bill makes do, and this is important. I make this point. He is conscientious about saving the church money and often made or repaired things with whatever materials were on hand with his knowledge of how to fix things. Bill isn't afraid to refer to a YouTube video occasionally. He has probably saved the church hundreds of thousands of dollars in potential contract type work. For him, there's no such thing as good enough, unlike the opinion of his former governor employer helper. You know that phrase, good enough for government work? Not Bill. He's been working on the bathroom renovation of the Prophet's Chamber. A couple weeks ago, he found out that the visiting pastor was going to stay in the chamber in a couple of days. There was no tub and shower, just a hole in the wall. So he worked through the night for 2 days to get the tub and shower installed, which included climbing in the crawl space and plumbing the works. He was able to get enough done to make the shower tub functional by the time that pastor came. He never complained. Bill is always happy to help in nearly every situation. I'm sorry. I'm backing up here. He rarely turned down any request, and he's a smart man about this because if Ann requested his help, he always said yes. And he would drop whatever he was doing to complete that request. There's much more that he has accomplished, including being song leader, Sunday school teacher, and school substitute teacher. I learned so much from Bill about how to improve things, solve problems, and make repairs more efficiently. I also picked up a lot of techniques I only wish I had learned years earlier. And then I wanted to say something about Ann. The thing that's the most amazing to me about Ann is her motivational skills, especially in getting those elementary children excited to be in a play. It will always be amazed. I will always be amazed by the way she and Carrie and others brought out their talents and helped them deliver such polished, professional performances. And I also appreciate Ann's faithfulness in playing the piano and the organ on Sunday. Anyway, I would like to give them some tokens of my appreciation. For Bill, I have this golden hammer. And also, he saying something else I wanted to give Bill. Was golden wrenches. And no, I didn't forget Ann. For Ann, I couldn't think of what else to give a teacher but a ruler, a golden ruler.
So, as Mr. Brown mentioned, there's been so much said about Mr. and Mrs. Newton, and it's hard to add to all of that, but I have been so thankful to have this transition time with Mrs. Newton, just to be able to meet with her and just talk about so many things that I will, possibly face in the future. And I'm just so thankful to be able to have that time. Specifically, though, I wanted to talk about something a little different, and it was just I want to speak to the love that Mrs. Newton has shown the children, and specifically my children. I'm sorry. So I know there's a picture that I just wanted to show, and this was actually Cole. And when I look at this picture, I think love. And this was when we had just moved here, and Cole was in K3, and we had had so many moves in his short little life. We've moved three times in 3 years, and we had lived in Tennessee, and we had bought a house, and then we felt God was moving us to Kentucky, and so we moved to Kentucky, and then I was teaching in a school there, and then we just felt like God was really leading up here to Indiana, and so we moved up here, and my older son, Carson, he rolled with things a little better, but Cole was more like me. And I've heard from a reliable source that I didn't roll with things very easily either when I was little. We have some rough edges that keep us from rolling. So anyways, after a year there in Kentucky, we had moved here to Indiana. And in this picture, I seen my baby, and he wanted his mommy. And I had made that commitment that I'm going to be a teacher, and it was hard. And I had taught many, many years before I had Cole, but I'm just so thankful Mrs. Newton saw the need, and she stepped in and showed him love. And as parents, I know many of you know this, when someone shows love for your children and takes care of your children, in return, you love them. And seeing her love for Cole and other children at school just really is overwhelming. And I know that love is not always the warm, fuzzy love like you see here. Many times, I know for my own children, love can be more holding them accountable. It can be providing training and counseling. Tough love is just tough sometimes. And Mrs. Newton has loved all of our children well. And above all else, her love always pointed them to the Savior and his unfailing love. And I know I've heard her say many times that when I leave here, I not only want them to love learning, but I want them to love Jesus. And she has done that well. I know when I first came, I believe when I first came 9 years ago, the theme Mrs. Newton had picked for our staff was being rooted and grounded in love. And she has lived out this verse. And she's given the students at BTCS and those who have moved on this deeply rooted foundation of love and faith. And so I think we would all honor the Newtons the most by continuing to live out what it says in Ephesians, that Christ may dwell in our hearts through faith, that we, being rooted and grounded in love, may have strength to comprehend with all the saints what is the breadth and the length and the height and the depth, and to know the love of Christ that surpasses knowledge, that we may be filled with all the fullness of God. Love you, Mrs. Newton.
it's humbling and it's kind of embarrassing sometimes to have more than 2 minutes spent congratulating people or thanking people, but we're honored by this. And some of the people that already spoke and said nice things about us, I won't say their integrity is not right or anything like that. And I may mention some of them in my little thank you here, but I want you to know that I wrote this before I heard them speak and before I wrote their speeches. Psalm 84:9 says, "Behold our shield, O God, look on the face of your anointed. For a day in your courts is better than 1,000 elsewhere. I would rather be a doorkeeper in the house of my God than dwell in the tents of wickedness. For the Lord God is a sun and shield. The Lord bestows favor and honor. No good thing doth he withhold from those who walk uprightly. O Lord of hosts, blessed is the one who trusts in you." It's been a privilege over the last several years to be a doorkeeper here at Burge Terrace Baptist, and I count that as a great privilege. Seems like yesterday we visited the church. That was June of 2009. We knew Andy and Bryn Gleiser. Andy had come and spoken chapel in Anderson when I was administrator there. We knew the Habegger family from Muncie. We knew Pastor Dave Pennington some, and that was an attraction for us to come to Burge. And we visited a couple other churches, and Pastor Pennington says, because we came here on Sunday morning and we'd visit some other church on Sunday night or whatever, or vice versa, and Pastor Pennington says, "When are you going to come visit us on a Sunday night?" And we knew he was hinting at, are you going to make a decision? It didn't take us long. But after we joined Burge, within a year, both Pastor Pennington and Greg Habegger had moved on to other ministries. We didn't intend to scare them away. But one constant that we had here at Burge was Pastor Curtis. His consistent preaching, a man who loved his people and family, attention to detail, great boss, and he stayed. And that was an encouragement to us. Ann was hired by Inga Canna to teach kindergarten and second grade. 6 years later, in the summer of 2016, the Cannons moved to Greenville, and Pastor asked Ann to be principal, and she agreed to 1 year. This May, 2026, her year came to an end. After 32 years of Christian education, Pekin, Illinois, and Anderson, Indiana, I worked a secular job just for intermittent period there. Mrs. Cannon hired me to do some part-time custodial work. A year later, Burge Terrace Christian School added 7th grade, or 7th and 8th, I can't remember, but I taught 4 years when we offered junior high. Then in 2016, the position of maintenance supervisor opened up. My goal was to take much of the building and grounds maintenance and improvements off of the pastor's plate as much as possible. And I loved working behind the scenes and giving God's people the best facility that we could afford here at Burge Terrace Baptist Church. We both loved serving in the music department under the leadership of Greg and Jim and Scott and now Tim. Ann playing the organ and the piano and working with the choir and substitute music director and intermittent music director in between some. I was happy to help out in those ways. One of my great privileges in the last few years was to teach our most mature app class. with Steve Rako and Billy Wiles. We call him Wild Bill. And to pick up where Bill Vincent and Paul Klink left off in their faithful ministries to those classes. I dearly love that group of faithful prayer warriors and Christian soldiers. I'm going to miss them a great deal. I believe the key factor in our longevity in the Lord's work has been the privilege of serving together as a couple wherever we were. Whether it was Pekin, Illinois, Anderson, Indiana, or here in Indianapolis, we went to church together, we went to work together, and the whole family benefited from it. We went to ball games together. We just were, because we were in the Lord's service at the same church and school, we were always together. That helped us. I'm usually a man of few words, and I've used my quota for the next 3 weeks, but I want to thank this church for welcoming us 16 years ago and supporting us in our positions on the staff of Burge Terrace Baptist Church and Burge Terrace Christian School. We will never forget Jim and Ruth Pletcher take us out to eat after an evening service early on. They kind of understood our position. Ruth's sister was in our church in Anderson. Ruth substituting in the school. Jim helping me maintain the buildings and build play sets. Those are precious memories. I'll remember Bill Nance. Again, I wrote this before he said some nice things. Who knew what it was like to relocate to Indianapolis as a mature adult. Much more mature than I was. He'd often say, "How are you doing?" And he seemed to have an idea of what I was facing at the time. I won't forget Pastor Curtis regularly saying, "Thank you for all you do." And I'm thinking, this is my job. I'm supposed to do this. You even pay me to do this. And you're thanking me on top of it? I can remember growing up on a farm, doing chores every day, morning and evening, milking a cow from the time I was in 8th grade till a senior in high school, day and night. I don't remember my dad coming to me and say, "Thank you, Bill, for milking that cow this morning." It's kind of expected, but Pastor takes the time out to thank me. Over the last few years, my effectiveness has been multiplied by a man who volunteers his time, many hours a week, to help me with the jobs that take two, or jobs that would eat up most of my day if he were. So, I want to thank Mel Brown for being a faithful friend. They say a speaker should stop before the audience wants him to. And Ann and I wanted to retire before you all wanted us to. The last thing you want to hear is an old man rambling on when the next thing on the agenda is a 5-course meal prepared by Steve Alexander. So you have our phone number. We'll gladly give you our address. And we want you to all come see us in South Carolina. We have an extra bedroom. Come see us, y'all.
Bill and Ann, if you'll just kind of step this way a little bit. Not a whole lot I can add to what's already been said, but if I was to give these descriptive words, I would give 3. I would say that Bill and Ann are committed, humble servants. which I am incredibly, incredibly grateful for. And I can't say that I planned it this way, but I think the text that we looked at this morning is very appropriate for what we're trying to do today, is that God took two ordinary, maybe in their case extraordinary people, who have trusted God all along the way, and through their life, non-verbally and verbally, they have displayed and proclaimed the gospel of Jesus Christ, and God has done amazing things through them in this church. And we are incredibly, incredibly grateful. As a church, we want to give you a couple things. We have a bag here, literally just kind of jam full of cards and notes from our congregation, just expressing thanks and gratitude for all that you have done. And I just trust that reading through these will be a great, great blessing to you. And so I'll let you take that. And then we got together and put together a financial gift that we want to give to you all. And to date, and I say to date, I think there may be a little bit more coming in, but this is a check for $8,600 that we want to just, maybe y'all can do something fun, travel, just do something enjoyable, and and don't work. How's that, okay? All right. Join me. We're going to pray here in just a second and go over to lunch. I think I will certainly, and I will come to realize this, we will all come to realize this in a very acute way in the coming weeks. We'll miss what Bill and Ann do. I will miss them. I appreciate their friendship. I just appreciate them on our staff, what they've meant to our church, and just so thankful for them as individuals. Let's pray. God, we are grateful for your provision. We are grateful for your provision through Bill and Ann for these last 16 years. God, they have just immensely, immensely blessed each one of us. Lord, they have left a permanent impact upon our church, and we are grateful. Lord, I pray that you would bless them. I pray as they soon transition to South Carolina that will be a smooth transition. I pray that they would just enjoy wonderful time with their sons and daughters-in-law and that their grandkids, and that it would just bless them. God, continue to use them. Lord, wherever they land in a church, I pray that they would just be as much or more of a blessing there as they have been to us. God, we're so grateful for them. Lord, as we are about to go eat, we thank you for your provision of the food. Thank you for the Alexanders and all who have helped them prepare the meal. I pray that we would enjoy a great time of fellowship together. And we pray these things in the wonderful name of Jesus. Amen. You are dismissed.